Greetings, friends. Marc David here, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I would love to have a conversation with you today about the psychology of the perfect diet. I like this topic because it has been a very pervasive background and foreground challenge, I think, when it comes to nutrition, health, weight loss. Everybody's trying to find the right way to eat, the perfect way to eat. Where does that come from? What's it about? Is it true? Is it useful? What's going on when we do that? So that's what the conversation is going to be about. It'll be practical, it'll be big picture, and a lot of the principles that you're going to hear are the same principles that we teach in our professional training, our eating psychology and mind-body nutrition certification training. So while I am waiting for people to hop on the call, if you wouldn't mind, say hello in the comment section just below and let me know where you're from and send some love my way, and we'll get going in a few minutes. I see Miss Lindsay Boyce just jumped in. Welcome. The snow is melting in Colorado. We must have got 1.5 feet. And here's the thing. Here's the secret that most people don't know about Boulder, Colorado. If you're in the mountains, yeah, there's a ton of snow. But when you're in the foothills, it comes and then it melts. The sun is always around the corner in the state of Colorado, is what I've discovered, or at least in this area in Boulder County. It's a great thing. I hope you're having a good 2017. Hello, Miss Lorraine from Scotland. I'm glad you came by. How do we do that? We're communicating with each other from around the globe. I love it. Kathleen is here. Welcome. Stephanie Webb. Just finished a program in October. It changed my life. Thank you for all you do. That's so sweet. I'm so glad you said that. So, being that you said that, let me say before we jump in and dive in, Kathleen let us know she's from Australia. Yay. Hello, Miss Demi from North Carolina. So we are currently enrolling for the next class of our Eating Psychology and Mind-Body Nutrition Coach Certification Training. That's our 8-month professional online, take it from anywhere in the universe training that'll teach you how to be an eating psychology coach and work with what are clearly the most compelling eating challenges of our times. You know what they are: weight, body image, overeating, binge eating, emotional eating, endless dieting, and the nutrition-related health concerns that also have an emotional psychological component, such as digestion, mood, immunity, fatigue, and others. So we already have a great group of students from around the world. If you want to learn more, email us at info@psychologyofeating.com. And as you come on, please feel free to say hi in the comment section below. Let me know where you're from. Let's talk about the psychology of the perfect diet. Here's the thing. When I first got into the nutrition field, I didn't invent the question, but the question was everywhere, just sort of in the invisible sphere, which is, what's the best diet? What's the best food to eat? What's the best nutritional approach? Makes sense. Let me just find the best way to do it. Because if you want to love yourself, treat yourself well, nourish yourself, be really healthy, it makes perfect logical and scientific sense, so it seems, to then discover what is the perfect diet. Now, here's the interesting challenge. Hello, Lucia from Mexico. I'm so glad you tuned in. So here's a challenge. When you set up this interesting dichotomy to look for the perfect diet, we set up an either or, a this or a that, a chocolate or vanilla. You got 2 choices. So what I'm eating is either the perfect diet or it's not. So it's either an on or an off. It's either a yes or a no. Now here's the thing, my friends. Now maybe you've discovered this about life. Whenever you're given 2 choices, sometimes we think the act of being given 2 choices gives us a choice. Hello, Miss Rachel from Arizona. We think you got a couple of choices. Wow, I got the power. I could choose. And one of these choices is right. I'm sorry, but there's a lot more choices in the world than 2 choices. And oftentimes we're deciding between the 2 as if it's going to give us something. So either the perfect diet or not. So here's the challenge. how do you know something's perfect? How do you know when you got there? Does perfection even exist? What I would like to offer Antonia, yes, from Australia. I'm glad you're here. What I want to say is, let's just kind of lay this out on the table, and then I'm going to work it. Sarah from Queensland, Australia, thanks for coming by. So what I want to lay out on the table is, it is a old, outdated, harmful concept that spins us in circles and takes us nowhere, to walk around believing that there is a perfect way to eat, and when we find the perfect diet, ta-da, we're done, we're finished, I'm there. Perfectionism, by the way, implies beyond reproach. Perfectionism implies beyond criticism. Perfectionism implies you can't question this. Perfectionism implies everything will now stay the same forever because I found the perfect partner. I found the perfect house. I found the perfect job. And from now until forevermore, it's all going to be perfect. So it assumes life doesn't change. And it assumes that we're going to hit this phantasmagorical point where what? You're going to live forever or something like that? So, hello, Miss Emily from Chicago. So here's what I want to say. No such thing as the perfect diet. However, there's all kinds of ways to eat that move us in a good direction. And if you really want to listen for perfection, what's right for me right now? Because the perfect diet for you, the ideal diet for you right now, is probably going to change 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now. Think of how many times your diet has changed. The body changes, life changes, the weather changes, your physical activity changes, your health changes, your needs change, your desires change. We change. So it makes sense that diet would change. And nutritionally, as a field, we're still evolving. We're still learning and we're still growing, for goodness sakes. Let's make lots of space for that. So when we're searching for the perfect diet, what ends up happening, and if you've been sucked into that, it's not your fault, by the way. Hello, Miss Laura Baldwin. She says it's created so much stress in my life and it was self-imposed. It was self-imposed, but here's what I want to tell you. You picked up on that conversation because I can't tell you how many people I have met, thousands over the years, and honestly probably way more, that communicate to us. People who get stuck in that spin cycle of looking for the perfect diet because there are so many experts out there saying, here's the perfect diet. Oh no, mine's the perfect diet. Oh no, this way. And here's the scientific proof. Have you noticed that, my friends, that you will hear people promoting diets that have nothing to do with each other, that don't have a lot of similarities in common, saying, well, no, vegan is perfect, vegetarian is perfect, paleo is perfect, this one, that one. Viviana from Mexico, hola, glad you're here. And Donna, no lose, only win or learn. Learning what works for you is perfect. I love that, great way to put it. So what happens is the experts are dueling for our minds. And it's not just the experts either. It's oftentimes the food companies that have an interest in how you're eating and what you're buying. Benjamin from Melbourne, Australia. I'm glad you came by. Thank you. So there's a lot impacting us that has us go, oh my God, I must find the perfect way to eat. By the way, the perfect way to eat also implies, for many people, perfect health, perfect body. All my problems go away. I never have to worry about stuff anymore. And we need to grow up, plain and simple. We need to mature, really, into understanding that these concepts pull us back and hold us down, and they're going to make us frustrated, and they are illogical, and they are actually anti-science. So any scientist or any scientific expert or any person that says they come from a scientific background and they are telling you this is the perfect diet, automatically, I question that. That doesn't mean that their diet might not have some great attributes about it. That doesn't mean that their diet might not be the best diet for you right now. That doesn't mean that their diet might not be this amazing healing experience for you or me or someone else. So we can always take a nugget of wisdom out of all the different diet systems that you've heard of, wouldn't that be a good approach to life? And say, okay, let's gather the wisdom. Let's gather the nutritional wisdom that we have. Let's gather all the nutritional information and say, like, okay, what are some of the truisms here? Because when you start to look at so many of these different diets that have a little bit of clout behind them, a little bit of history, a little bit of love, a little bit of research. Nancy from Quebec, thank you for being here. So when you start to gather them all up together, the ones that work often have some interesting things in common. What they have in common are what's not included. Artificial foods, toxic foods, synthetic foods, GMOs, tons of sugar, tons of nonsense chemistry in the body. So many of the really good diets eliminate that. So many of the good diets focus on quality. So perfection doesn't exist. We got to let go of it. And that's a rite of passage when we allow the world to be what it is, when we allow the universe to be what it is. Because when you can let go of the perfect diet, you can also let go of having the perfect life. You can let go of having the perfect kids and the perfect this and the perfect that. And then we can go about the business of actually enjoying ourselves. And then we can go about the business of actually paying attention to, okay, I'm eating this. How's this working for me? And now I'm eating that. How's that working for me? And oh, my friend's on this kind of nutritional system or that kind of diet. Let me learn about that. Let me explore. Let me ask some questions about that. So instead of looking for perfection, which is kind of like winning the lottery, and then you don't have to worry about money anymore. Like everybody's trying to win the lottery about this kind of stuff. So there are likely as many perfect ways to eat as there are people on the planet. There's a great way for you to eat. There's a great way for me to eat, and it changes. And we're not always going to be doing it perfectly anyway. You might know what works for you. You might know the foods you should eat. And you stray anyway, and you find yourself reaching for things that are on your no-no list. So even when we know what we're supposed to do, we don't always do it because there's so many factors. Not just, oh, this is the perfect diet, therefore I will eat that. Humanity isn't that straightforward. We're not that mechanical in how we work. When you can really train your mind after a while, we can get closer and closer to the place where I'm doing more of what I know to do. And I'm not encountering my own resistance to what I know is good for me. See, that's an interesting exploration. And that's what we do in our training. And that's what we train our coaches to do with our clients, because it's not just finding the perfect diet and then like hurling that information at somebody and hoping that it sticks to their head and then they'll eat the food and everything is better. Eating is more interesting than that. It's more complex than that. The right diet for me, for you, for anyone, it depends on your age, your health, where you live, your environment, the season, your genetics, your preferences, your physical activity, your personal, moral, ethical belief system. That's going to help create the perfect diet for you. And then just watching the body, observation, experimentation. That's how science moves forward. You observe, you observe, you observe. We gather data. And then after a certain point, you make a conclusion based on good observation. So to me, that's what I have found works best for so many people when it comes to what should I eat? What's best for me? What should I eat? What's best for me? Think of it as a beautiful, ongoing question, as opposed to, I better get an answer to this, otherwise I'm screwed. No, it's an ongoing, lifelong question, just like the ongoing, lifelong question, how could I be a good person in this world? How can I be a better communicator? How can I be in relationship better? The way you're in relationship today is going to probably be very different than how you do it a year from now if you keep growing and you keep expanding and you keep paying attention, because we're learning. Mike Sewell says, I'm enrolled. If anyone is looking for an eating psychology coach, here they are. in this thread. If you're an eating psychology coach, please feel free to identify yourself. Mike is from Texas, but our coaches also do Skype phone sessions. So many of them have clients around the world. So feel free to reach out to someone in this thread. You know, it behooves us to confront this perfect thing, this perfectionism thing, head on whenever we see it show up in our life. And I believe that's a good strategy because check it out. Tell me if you've noticed this. Usually when we're going for perfectionism, perfect anything, perfect body, perfect weight, perfect diet in this case, when you're working for perfectionism and working for it, usually right around the corner from that perfectionism is self-abuse. Why? Because it's impossible to be perfect. And we're squeezing ourselves to have perfection. And at some point, life will reveal itself. And you're not going to be able to stick to the no carb, no sugar, no fun, no pleasure diet. And you're not going to be able to stick to whatever diet you have that's very intense or very rigid, or you're just going to be human and you're going to have a craving. And because of the nature of perfectionism, it has us shrink, actually. It has us believe on a deeper level that I can only accept myself when I'm perfect. We also believe that others will only accept us when we're perfect. So when we don't hit perfect, we start to self-reject. So chances are, if you've been a perfectionist kind of gal or guy, you've also been go into self-abuse. And self-abuse can mean a lot of different things. We can self-abuse with food, by overeating, by binge eating, by emotionally eating, or we could self-abuse just with our thoughts. I hate myself. I'm a willpower weakling. I can't believe it. I couldn't stick with my diet. Hello, Miss Sarah. Glad you're here. Rachel, thanks for being here. Who else was commenting? Kathleen Dorn. Dawn Hart mentions that she is a coach and she is here. You know, we have to embrace how our mind is approaching food and body, because that says so much. So yeah, what we eat is amazingly important for the health of our body, but what we believe about what we're eating, how we're seeing the world, how we're thinking, in a lot of ways, that's where the action is. And you can watch people. You can watch the tension and the anxiety when they're trying to do a diet perfect. It's inevitable that they're going to fail. You know, and we build ourselves up. Now, when I say diet, I mean nutritional system. You can also hear diet as weight loss approach. You know, people are looking for the perfect way to lose weight. Doesn't exist either. Because everybody who's truly carrying extra weight has a different reason. So just keeping your ears open for what's the new weight loss diet and what's popular or what's coming out of, I don't know, Hollywood. I don't even know where the new, weight loss diets come from. But usually it's coming from the same kind of consciousness, which is, look at me, here's a great new system. This is whoever's come out with that system. This is going to be the hero that's going to rescue you, the hero diet, and we're all going to live happily ever after. And we, the collective we have been going from diet to diet to diet to diet since the 1960s when it comes to weight loss. We've been doing the same thing when it comes to nutritional approaches and nutritional systems. And what I want to say is, let's take notice of that. And let's see it from a different perspective. Let's see it from the perspective called, we're in a collective workshop called, gosh, we need to learn more about nutrition. We need to learn more about the body. We need to learn more about weight loss. We need to experiment more. We need to explore more. We need to take a deep breath and be honest and say, gosh, we don't know a lot when it comes to the field of nutrition. And there's actually a lot of good information out there, but it gets buried. And one of the reasons why it gets buried is because people are looking to win the nutritional lottery. You just tell me the perfect diet and I'll do it. But so many clients over the years, they beg for it sometimes. Just tell me the right way to eat. Now they're begging for that because they've been looking for that. They haven't been able to find it. They're still feeling whatever symptoms they have. They still feel like they have the weight that they don't want to have. And it's our job, if you're a professional, or if you know someone like this, or if it's your child or your friend or your loved one and you know better, it's our job to help educate people, and it's our job to help uplift people and raise our hand when we see somebody going in a spin cycle and doing self-harm when it comes to food and body, because you know this, so many of us know this, that people can spend a lifetime of energy worrying about food, about body, about weight, about shape, about looks, about health, about all of it, about some of it. We could obsess about it. We can, sometimes it occupies all of our airtime. And we got more important things to do with our lives. We have some gifts to give. My phone always rings when I'm on a Facebook Live. That's amazing. I'm back. So we have gifts to give this world. We have places to go, people to see, lots of love to give, ways to explore. We have a potential. That potential gets a little bit suppressed. That potential gets a little bit suppressed when we're obsessing about food and body. Obsessing about food and body also makes me and you and other people much better purchasers and consumers, and it makes you want to spend more money. Why would you want to spend more money? Because you're looking for another book, another system, another diet. And we're looking for more gizmos, and we're looking for more. So it is oftentimes to the advantage of industry. It is oftentimes to the advantage of the business people who are in health and nutrition and diet as a business alone. I am shocked because I know a lot of people in this industry, my friends, and there's a lot of people in the industry who are strictly in it as a business. They could care less. It hurts my heart. Why? Because food is love. Because I think you should, if somebody wants to be a nutritionist, a dietitian, a health coach, work with people with food and body, if there was a universal test that we had to give all these people, one of the most important qualifications for me that would be on the universal test is somehow to determine, do you really care? Do you really freaking care? Do you care about other humans? Do you care about their health? Do you care about not just the health of their body, for goodness sakes, their inner health? You care about their world. You care about their fullest expression on the planet. Because if you did, you wouldn't want them spending money on nonsense. Especially if you're selling nonsense. You wouldn't want them spending money on that. So, we have our work cut out for us, and it's good work. That's why I'm inspired about the work we do here at the Institute, because we do our best to put out positive information, positive memes. Yes, we're a business, but we're also a mission. One of my kind of promises that I made to myself at a very young age was I would do my best in this world being a person who makes money to make money in a way that humans are helped and not harmed. Plain and simple. I didn't even want to do it neutral. Okay, I'm going to make money in a neutral way. No, can I make money in a way where people actually benefit? What an interesting thing. What if the economy was centered around that desire? World, I think, would look really different. Downtown, where we go shopping, would look very different if we were only selling things that have value for people, real value. So anyway, the perfect thing. We have to let go of perfect and embrace what's right for me now. We have to let go of perfect when it comes to nutrition, food, diet, life, and accept the messiness right now of the field of nutrition. The field of nutrition is a little messy. It's messy. It's chaotic. Sometimes it's the Wild West. You got experts so disagreeing with each other, it's mind-boggling. The infighting that happens. And you know something? It's okay. It's okay that there is infighting in the nutrition world because we're learning, we're duking it out, we're dialoguing, we're listening. Gosh, I wish we could have a better conversation collectively about nutrition. Um, to me, every company that manufactures a food, instead of having their manufacturing plant inspected by the FDA. By the way, anytime you read on a piece of meat that you buy in the store, FDA approved and all that sort, or inspected, less than 1% of it, by the way, gets inspected. How they could say that, I don't know. But if the psyches, the mind, the hearts were inspected of the people creating the food, I would want to know, is there love in there? Because if there's love, there's a way better chance that we're going to turn out a great product. So my friends, perfectionism, the perfect diet, let it go. When you see it operating, when you see that belief, that toxic thought operating in someone that you know, raise your hand. Refer them to this conversation. Have a conversation with them. Ask them some good questions. The power of being a coach, or one of the beauties of being a coach, is you get to work with people. You don't just tell people what to do. You help cultivate wisdom in people. You help cultivate a better them. You help draw them out. You help draw out their wisdom. You help mine and excavate their own experience. And you bring in your experience and you help show them, wait a second, there are different ways to look at this. There's different ways to think about it. And from that place, we can have a powerful impact on people. Typically, when a client lets go of their search for perfection, that's like a cause for celebration. It's life-changing for so many people. And I really mean that. Lauren says, cultivate wisdom. I love that. It's got to be cultivated. We have to actively learn how to be better humans. And I think so many of us do that. And sometimes it's just about making it official in your own mind, just staking your claim and saying, okay, I'm doing this. I'm going to make myself a better person. I'm going to do the best to make my body healthy. And am I going to be perfect? No, I'm not going to be perfect. Who is? I don't know anyone who fits that bill. So welcome to planet Earth, my friends. It's a little bit messy right now at this time in history when it comes to nutrition. But now that you and I know that, we don't have to get caught up in the nonsense. We can just look at the terrain and say, okay, this is what it is. So I'm going to do my best to take the nuggets of wisdom from this expert, this book, that website, that approach, and see what works best for me. And that's a great approach. Again, many of the principles I am talking about here, this is what we train our coaches to do in our professional training, the eating psychology and mind-body nutrition coach certification training. So if I may say one more time for the people who have, come on in the middle of this conversation, I mentioned it at the beginning, we're now enrolling for that training. It's a distance learning training. You could take it from anywhere in the world, 8 months, online. Training is by application. We're accepting applications now. To find out more, email us at info@psychologyofeating.com. As I mentioned, there's a bunch of eating psychology coaches in this thread. So you can identify them. They've identified themselves. And if you do need a coach or you know someone who does, here's a great resource to start. And I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. I appreciate you coming by. If you know somebody who might be interested in this, please share it with them. And as well, if you would like to receive alerts, if you like this page, the Institute for the Psychology of Eating fan page, it'll give you a ding every time I hop on to a Facebook Live. A lot of people are giving the training love. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And more to come, my friends. Thank you so much.